All right, so we're going to continue on with number 15 now. And number 15, we have a division problem. Now remember the rules for dividing. If you have only one negative sign, you're going to get a negative answer. Anytime you have two negative signs, they will pair up and cancel each other out and make a positive. Okay, so here we're going to get a negative answer because we only have one negative sign. And now we just divide 42 by 7. And hopefully you know this. It is 6 because 6 times 7 does equal 42. All right, so our answer is negative 6. All right, number 16, we have 84 plus negative 103. Now we have a different set of rules for adding than we do for multiplying and dividing. Here we're adding two numbers together. They have different signs. 84 is positive, 103 is negative, so we can't just combine them. We have to subtract, and we'll end up with a negative answer here because we have more negatives than we do positives. Think of it like these 84 positives are going to cancel out 84 of these negatives. They'll make a zero pair with 84 of these negatives, but we'll still have some negatives left over. So it'll be negative, and then how many more negatives are there than positives? We will subtract. 4 from 3, well, I better make this 10 into a 9, and then I can make this 13. 13 minus 4 is 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. So we have 19 more negatives than we have positives. So our answer is negative 19. Okay. Number 17, very similar. We have negative 57 plus 33. Again, I have more negatives than I do positives. The question becomes how many more negatives are there than there are positives? So I will get a negative answer. These 33 positives are going to make a zero pair with 33 of these negatives. Just drag them on out of there and they're gone. But we'll still have a bunch of negatives left over. How many? So we subtract the absolute values of these numbers. 57 minus 33. 7 minus 3 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. So we have 24 more negatives than there are positives. So our answer is negative 24. All right, number 18. We had one like this earlier too. Negative 27 minus 27. A common mistake people will make is they will think that the answer is going to be 0. But be careful because we're not subtracting negative 27 from negative 27. We're subtracting positive 27 from negative 27. When you're dealing with integers and it's a subtraction problem, rewrite it in addition mode. Change. Add the opposite. So I'm going to rewrite this so it says negative 27. Instead of minus, we're going to make that plus. And then in exchange, we change this to its opposite, which is negative 27. Minus means the same thing as plus negative. So what I have here is negative 27 plus negative 27. We have 27 negatives. We're adding 27 more negatives. So we're going to have even more negatives than what we started with. And now I can just add together their absolute values to find the total number of negatives that we have. 7 and 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 2, 2, and 1 is 5. So we have 54 negatives altogether. Our answer is negative 54. 19, that's easy. Anytime you multiply by 0, you'll get 0 as an answer. Now you might be thinking, wait, there's one negative sign. We're multiplying. Shouldn't our answer be negative? Normally that would be true, but anytime you multiply by 0, it will just be 0. Now number 20, there we have one negative sign. We're dividing. And multiplying and dividing, anytime you have two negative signs, you'll get a positive result. If you only have one negative sign, it will be negative. So I'll put my negative sign down here. And then I'm just going to divide the numbers as if there were no negatives at all. We're just looking at their absolute values. And 3 does go nicely into 111. 3 goes into 11 3 times. Well, 3 times 3 is actually 9. Subtract, you get a remainder of 2. Bring down the 1. And 3 times 7 is 21. We get a remainder of 0. So 37, and don't forget it is negative since we only have one negative sign in our problem. Negative 37. All right, 21, negative 9 times 21. Again, when multiplying and dividing, if you only have one negative sign, you'll get a negative answer. If you had two negative signs, you get a positive answer. Okay. So our answer will be negative here. Now you just take 21 times 9, ignoring the negative signs as you multiply. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. So 189. And remember, it's negative. 22, we have 68 minus negative 68. Now, if you get in a hurry, you might think the answer is 0, but you know what? It can't be 0 because 68 minus 68 is 0. This is 68 minus negative 68. We need to rewrite this as an addition problem by adding the opposite. Change. So instead of minus, make that plus, and then change this to its opposite, which would be positive 68. And so you see when you have minus negative, you're actually just adding. It means the same thing as adding. So we have 68 plus 68. Hey, isn't that the same thing as 68 times 2? It is, isn't it? But either way, we get the same result. 8 times 8 is 8 plus 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 6 and 6 is 12, and 1 more is 13. So we have 136 here. That's our answer for 22. 23, we have 52 divided by negative 4. Hopefully you know whether the answer will be positive or whether it will be negative here. Remember our rule for multiplying and dividing. If you only have one negative sign, the answer will be negative as well. It takes two negative signs for them to cancel each other out. Okay, so I know the answer is negative. At this point, it's just 52 divided by 4. 4 goes into 5 one time. We get a remainder of 1. Bring down the 2, and 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. There's our remainder of 0. So 13. But remember, it's negative, so negative 13 is our answer for that problem. Number 24, we have negative 81 minus negative 81. Hey, will the answer be 0 here? What do you think? You have a number here, negative 81. We have the same number over here, negative 81. If you subtract a number from itself, it will equal 0. This will give us an answer of 0. Now, you really should change, add the opposite. We really should change this to plus and change that to its opposite, positive 81. And negative 81 plus positive 81, well, they're opposites. And whenever you add opposites together, it will equal 0. In effect, since the signs are different, you find the difference. And 81 minus 81, you find the difference of their absolute values. It does equal 0. All right, now starting on 25 up through 28, we're solving equations that have some integers in them, sometimes negatives, sometimes negative integers. So let's take a look here at number 25. R divided by 7 equals negative 84. I want to solve for R. I want R to be by itself. That's called isolating that variable, getting it to be by itself. What's the inverse operation of division? It's multiplying, isn't it? So to get rid of dividing by 7, we can undo that by multiplying by 7. But if I do that here, that's gone. I also need to do that here. Whatever you do on one side, you must do on the other side of the equation. And then R equals, now I just have to multiply these together. Negative times positive will be negative. So now I have to just multiply 84 by 7. ignoring the signs because I already know it's going to be negative. 7 times 4 is 28. Carry the 2. 7 times 8 is 56. Add the 2 in, you get 58. So my answer is R equals negative 588. The most common mistake on this problem is people would have divided by 7. And I did choose a number here that does divide by 7. So the most common mistake would be somebody saying, well, wouldn't R equal negative 12? Because they divided instead of multiplying. But no, we have to multiply in order to undo division. Okay, dividing by 7, get rid of it by multiplying by 7. So negative, R equals negative 588. 26, we have K minus negative 24 equals negative 24. Now you could say, well, let's just add negative 24 to each side then. And that would be good. But I think what I would recommend is that you change here first. Don't leave it as a subtraction problem. Rewrite it in addition mode. So instead of K minus negative 24, you can say K plus positive 24. Add the opposite. And then what you have to do is subtract 24 to undo that. Same thing over here, subtract 24 to undo. You got to do the same thing on the right that you did on the left. That's gone. K equals. Now, what is negative 24 minus 24? Once again, you can't leave it as subtraction. You need to change it to addition and then change this to its opposite. So what we have is negative 24 plus negative 24. These have the same sign, and we're adding them together, so we're going to have a larger number of negative numbers altogether. How many negatives are there total here? We need to add 24 plus 24. And we get 8 and we get 4. So we have 48 negatives. Our answer will be negative. K equals negative 48. Okay? Number 27, y plus 12 equals negative 12. Well, to get y by itself, I need to get rid of the plus 12. To do that, I use the inverse operation, which is to subtract 12. There, subtract 12 here. That's gone. Y equals, and now we just have negative 12 minus 12. Remember, we don't want to leave it as subtracting. We change it to plus, change this to its opposite. We have negative 12 plus negative 12. We're joining two negative values together. So let's see how many negatives we have combined. We add them up. When the signs are the same, you look for the sum, and you get 24. You have 24 negatives. Y equals negative 24. All right, number 28, we have negative 9v, which means negative 9 times v equals 18. To undo multiplying, we divide by negative 9, which means I also do that over here. Divide by negative 9. These cancel out. You multiply by negative 9, you undo it by dividing by negative 9. So we just have v equals 18 divided by negative 9. When multiplying and dividing, if you only have one negative sign, you'll get a negative answer. And 18 divided by 9 is 2. So v equals negative 2. That's our answer for number 28. My headset's attacking me. All right, v equals negative 2. All right, now the word problems. 29. Dell woke up and checked his phone for the outdoor temperature. It was 7 degrees Fahrenheit. That's above 0, isn't it? The forecast said the temperature was going to drop all day long. It's going down during the day. Must be a cold front coming in. And that by 5 p.m. it would be negative 9 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the forecast change in temperature? It started at 7. It ends at negative 9. If you want to find the change in temperature, you're finding the difference. You're subtracting negative 9. And since it's a subtraction problem, we change it to adding the opposite. And you have 7 plus 9, which is 16. It's a 16-degree drop in temperature, isn't it? The temperature is going down 16 degrees. So it's negative 16 degrees. It's a decrease of 16 degrees. All right. That's all I have time for. I'll have to do one more video.